Alrighty, so the new anniversary is coming up, and I wanted to talk about prepping for it a bit because I'm doing some prep myself, and I figured I would just let you in on maybe what I'm doing. Maybe you guys have suggestions for me on what I should be doing. Either way, big community effort. I like to talk to the community. So if you're new to the channel or anything, feel free to subscribe. We're almost at 10K, which is super cool. So if you want to help out, that'd be cool. But either way, new Estarossa is coming, and he's very interesting. He just came out this morning as of the time of me recording this, so I've watched a little bit of gameplay and everything, and he looks like an absolute monster. So looks like a character that's going to be a lot of fun to play with. And if you're planning on summoning for him, I wanted to talk about some of the units that I am sort of working on or sort of want to pair with him and everything. So I've just kind of been doing original demons and stuff like that on and off, like throughout the day, trying to get all of the materials that I need. I'm also going to have to wait until Sunday for half stamina and try to farm out as many of the upgrade potions as I possibly can, because that seems to be my own bottleneck at the moment for getting characters to level 100. So I definitely want to take advantage of half stamina whenever that comes around. So Sunday I'm going to be using probably a bunch of skip tickets and auto farming and stuff like that on the stamina potion, or not stamina potions, but the like the upgrade XP potions or whatever you want to call them. But the big thing with Estarossa is his passive works when you are pairing him with demon race allies or allies with commandments. So the big thing there is you want to sort of run either like a full demon team or just characters with commandments. Of course, the only characters that don't have commandments, or that aren't demons and have commandments, are Droll for one. I already have Blue Droll at level 100. I've had him for a little while, or I've had him at level 100 for a while because I use him as a link for Ludociel and for Festival Zeldris. So I don't necessarily think that I'm going to be using him per se in the like PvP showcase that they did during the live stream reveal. They used green Droll a little bit, and I think that he's an interesting option. He's not maybe my first pick or anything like that. The only thing that I would like about him is maybe his secondary skill, because or his level 2 debuff skill, because it disables buffs and debuff skills, which could be good, so that way they can't cleanse off your things. But most of his, if you don't know how he works, he basically puts on a bunch of gray debuffs, and once he maxes those out with 5 stacks, then he puts on a red encroachment debuff, which can be cleansed, of course, but I think it only lasts for 1 turn, so you would basically be trying to take advantage of it as soon as you hit it. And I don't necessarily think that he's maybe the best option for that. So Droll, I don't know if I'll really be using him. I might try to mess around with Blue Droll, but I'm still not super sure on that. I did level 100 Gloxenia, and the only reason I did this is because as soon as he got revealed, a lot of people in chat were like, oh, this is going to be a really good time for Summer Merlin to come back into the meta. Not that she ever really left. She's kind of sparse, like she's not like super relevant, but I still do run into her pretty often. But because of her whole attack seal and everything like that, and the fact that people run her with Festival Gother, who locks down buff skills, the only person who normally cleanses in the meta is Margaret, but Gloxenia is a fairy for one, but she has a commandment, so it works with him, and she has a recovery card that removes debuffs, so you could potentially use that to cleanse. I don't know how effective it's actually going to be. I actually went like the full mile, and I went ahead and built HP defense UR gear for her, or for him. I always call it her because of the long hair, but it's a dude. I'm just really bad about that. But you can see 61k CC is not necessarily great. I don't have all of the like cosmetics or anything for him like completely maxed out, but he's kind of an old unit. I only have him 2.6. He is on the banner. Maybe I'll pull some extra copies and get that CC up a little bit higher, but he's pretty old, so not necessarily sure that he would be like a great unit, but I definitely want to test it out. So I went ahead and powered him up, and then other than that, the rest of them are basically all demons. So I don't really see any of these older Meliodas as being good. Trader Meli, of course, is pretty good, and Assault Mode is good with him, but the thing is his passive, if we pull that back up, or his commandment actually, is when a hero uses a skill, remove 1 buff on the hero. 0. So it's going to be a little bit counterproductive for those two melee units, because as they sort of as this melee gets attacked, he gains buffs. As this melee attacks with single targets, he gets buffs. So you'll still be able to use the card and get like a good amount of damage off, but it does remove the buff before you attack. So it could be a little counterproductive there. So unless you already have like good stacks built up on him, and then you attack, you're going to lose one, but hopefully you'll still have enough on to where you do good damage, because both of these characters rely on those buffs to use their Amplify card. And it's maybe not ideal. I think you can still run these characters fine and they're good, but I don't know. It's a little wonky. It doesn't work perfectly, that kind of thing, so I'm not sure exactly. I kind of sort of want to use this Melascula because I have pulled her recently and I've already gotten her up to level 90. I think she's going to be sort of on the back burner. I'm not super thrilled about using her or anything because I don't really care too much about using Melascula in the sense that, you know, she has an ult drain card and a barrier that's not super strong. So I don't think that she's really like a great contender. You could probably use her and kind of mess around with it, so that way you have a little bit more maybe ult control, but I don't think it's going to be ideal. Monspeet's kind of out of the question. I don't think Derriere's really going to be that good for it either. Maybe potentially Blue Derry, so that way you could taunt and keep the heat off of the rest of them, but in that case I think I would much rather try to use Chandler for like taunting and getting counters off. So that could be kind of good. I think that Cusack and Chandler are probably the other two that I'm really looking into powering up. I also thought about doing Red Zeldris because you want to use characters with commandments. You could you could get buffs for their basic stats from Zeldris if you put him either in the back line, or if you wanted to run him in the front line, you could get use out of his commandment, and you could actually, if you get attack sealed or anything like that, you could move a card, get rid of the debuffs on you, and then you'd pretty much be good to go. You could still attack at that point. But I think that running Festival Zeldris in the back is probably going to be the better idea. So yeah, I think the ideal team that I'm going to be looking forward to using maybe is Berserk Estarossa, Berserk Meliodas, so that way as they attack you, his passive will also put, I think it puts, yeah, decrease defense-related stats of all enemies by 15% for 2 turns. It puts that debuff on, so you'll get more use out of Zeldris in the back. So he'll be in the back, and then I'm thinking the third will either be Cusack for extra damage. Maybe it would be really good when going up against Bond teams and stuff, which it looks like Estarossa can hold his own. He's a blue unit already, and he deals really good damage, so I don't necessarily think that it's required to run Cusack or anything, but I think he could be a fun unit. And then or you could run Chandler as like a taunt unit to get the heat off of the other two units, because you're either going to keep attacking with Estarossa and building up his stacks and doing more damage, and then if you have assault mode on the team as well as they're attacking you to try to not get Estarossa to like absolutely destroy them, he's going to be gaining stacks as well. So even if they kill Estarossa, you could potentially fall back onto melee to win. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff going on. Obviously he just came out, so I'll try to keep an eye on gameplay for him and stuff like that for the rest of the week before he does come out on global, and try to see what people are using, what could be good comps and everything, which you don't have to use demons or commandments, but it seems like a really good option, which is kind of weird because a lot of these characters are really old and outdated, which means that they're not really great. They don't have the greatest CC or whatever the case may be, so that could be a problem. I kind of want to boost up Red Zeldris, even with him having my HP defense set on. He has 62,000, which isn't too bad. I actually normally run it on this Zeldris, so if we swap that, I think he's going to be right around 60. No, he's 58k, so yeah, that's a lot worse. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm running one or the other, I'll probably run him as HP defense, but those are the characters that I'm kind of interested in. I'm going to work on Cusack and Chandler next, and then I already have Gloxenia just as like a fun sort of character that I can run. I already have both of the good melees, I guess, already powered up. I thought about it. You could potentially try to run this new, like, blue subslot melee in the back if you were not going to run Festival Zeldris, so that way you have him in the back line. He's not putting on buffs, so they can't get removed because they're gray buffs. And then you could run this Zeldris up front, but his CC is absolutely trash, atrocious, still needs to be buffed. So yeah, I don't know. There's some decent options, and of course you can always just run him with regular stuff. Like you could just run him with Ludociel or whatever if you really wanted to try to get like huge damage out first turn or whatever the case may be. But the more demons you run, the more, you know, darkness stacks you can put on without just using, you know, Estarossa's attacks. So I think that he's really interesting. I'm still looking forward to it. His banner and everything is really not great, so that kind of sucks, but I don't know, definitely interested to see how it goes. So let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. Let me know what you're planning on, you know, powering up, what you want to use with him, what kind of teams you're trying to prep for, or if there's anything else that you think I should be doing before he comes out or anything. But I think powering up, you know, some of the demon characters, making sure that you have the materials that you need for the character when he comes out. So I'm fighting, or I'm farming a lot of OG demons at the moment, but you know, this is only enough for like 3 characters. So even if, you know, I power up a bunch of demons, I got to make sure that I also have enough for when he comes out as well. So I need to start probably farming Belmoths as well, and then if you want to start farming maybe these, if you haven't done like the gold coin shop dungeon for the week, if you have those and stuff, making sure you have cosmetic upgrade materials for whenever he drops. If you're buying the outfits and everything, that's also a huge one. So I don't know. Making sure you have all the resources to power him up is probably first and foremost, so you can actually use him, and then, you know, maybe worry about the team after you already have the materials. I don't know. Just figure out what you need for your specific account, but that is pretty much it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next one.